watching Netflix, right? So, I thought about it today, and I was like, what we really need to talk about is the whole piece about working less and planning more, and that's really the way you work less is to plan more. But here's the other cool thing too: if you plan and you put it in your calendar and you put everything in your schedule, then when you have those disruptive days, you still motor through them, right?
Yes.
You still get to that other side. And it was interesting because I've been doing these, challenges at the health club and at the yoga studio. And someone asked me yesterday, well, they don't, how do I find the time? Which is funny to me because for those of you who know me, I have zero time. However, we do a process. We actually teach it, the planning map, but we do a process, and basically it is anything that you consider really important, you plan first. You put that in
Right.
your calendar and you don't move it, right? And so when you do that, you will have a tendency of sticking to it and finding the time to get things done. And our goal at Mastermind City is for everyone to work less and to make more and create an opportunity for them to actually enjoy some time on their own. So it's really, really key that we come up with some certain strategies that help, right? And everything we do in our business, everything that we use is designed to have us work less.
Well, absolutely. And I think what ends up happening, unfortunately, if you don't put it in your calendar, it's very easy to just kind of go, I won't do that.
Yeah, I'll do it
I'll
later.
just skip that class.
Yeah,
Other things end up taking a priority.
yeah,
And if you put yourself as a priority and you end up either A, going to a class, or you prioritize yourself, or you do something that's going to help your health or energy level, wellness in general, your
yeah.
business then is better simply because you are better.
Yeah, and I think, for a long time I neglected myself because I just had too many things to do. I still do,
Mhm.
but I've kind of figured it out. It's a lot easier when all the kids go off to school and you don't have them, taking
Driving
them
in
to hockey.
500 million directions
Yeah.
in one day.
So, but here's the predicament or the choices that you have, and if this sounds like you and you're listening right now, then you have to really think about it because sometimes what happens is when you have an extra time, you do nothing, and you think doing nothing propels you forward because you're relaxing, but actually doesn't really work that way. So, you want to set your body and your mind and your spirit to optimal performance, right? In order for you to actually enjoy time off. If you just sit on the couch and watch Netflix and eat potato chips, it's not going to happen. And yeah, I've done that lots of times. So it doesn't really benefit you in the long run.
No.
But it
And I
really comes
think
down. Go ahead.
I think the fascinating part that I've realized lately, not just from you, not just from other people that I've talked to, but I think I've come to the I feel like I'm late to the game, is that powering through the tiredness. So sometimes we get that slump towards the end of the day and we're good, okay, we're working, and it's like I turn off my computer and the last thing I want to do is leave my house. The
Right.
last thing I want to do. But if you can just power through that lull to get to class, get in your car, do whatever to do something, go for that walk, how much better you feel is incredible. So again, I feel like I'm a little bit late to the game with that realization,
Yeah.
but because of challenges, like we're part of a 30-day challenge, we're in the midst of it, and because of that challenge and because of that commitment, I have scheduled in the calendar and I'm honoring that because I don't want to have the day that I don't mark off that I did something.
Yeah.
So I'm powering through, and the rest of my night I'm so much better
Yeah.
mentally, physically,
And
and I'm able to go
and
get
you
through
have
the day.
to figure out what that means to you. For some of you, you get up and you work out early or you meditate. For some people, it's at the end of the day. I used to be, because I am a caregiver.
Mhm.
My only time was first thing in the morning when everybody was sleeping, and that's when I would do everything. That very short hour for me.
Yeah.
And the older I got, the more I realized it doesn't work for me anymore.
Right.
So I do it at the end of the day at 5 o'clock, at 6 o'clock, where I am exhausted and I don't want to do anything, but it is truly in the calendar. So if you have to come up with some type of hook to make sure that you're doing what you need to do, even if you don't want to. And it translates to business. So a lot of us put the hardest tasks at the end of the day because we don't want to do them. But if you start with the hardest task of the day, then the rest of the day feels like a vacation because you did what you didn't want to do. And I just had something that I didn't want to do, and I've been putting it off for 3 days. I did not want to do it. And this morning, last night, I promised myself I'd get up and do it. And
Yeah.
I knew it would take an hour, and I knew I would hate every minute of doing it. But I decided, okay, now here's the cool thing. With the advent of all the tools and strategies and techniques and AI, it went a lot faster than it would have about a year ago
Right.
because I was able to dip my toes into Gemini, into ChatGPT, and it helped me get those done. But that's the goal. The goal is really to find those shortcuts in life that will make everything else better. And you will, again, work less. So if you believe that having an hour of movement, which we firmly believe, 30 minutes to an hour every day, will, in fact, help you work less, it will,
Hmm.
because you'll have more energy, you'll feel better about yourself, and therefore you'll tackle tasks better. So
Yeah.
that is one of our strategies to actually work less. And even though everyone out there is going, no, I don't have time, that's not going to work, it does. And trust
Yes.
me, if it can work for me, it can work for anyone because I was notorious for not having any time. The truth, it is, I have a lot of responsibilities, but the more time I spent helping myself, the less time required to work and get things done. So that's huge.
Absolutely. And I think what's happened for me is because I would have that lull at the end of the day and I'll be like, oh, in the evenings, I was just so tired because I just didn't have the energy to do the personal stuff, that what I started doing was shortening my work day
Yeah.
so that I could incorporate when I needed to the personal stuff, just like the errands, the this, the that. I needed to get this done, looking on the computer, helping my kids do whatever it is. So
Yeah.
now I feel like it's like, okay, I can actually extend. Now my workday becomes sort of a regular workday.
Yeah.
I can then sort of take that break, that mental and physical, go to a class, online, in person, whatever my schedule permits, go for a walk. And then I have the energy in the evening because now I'm kind of rejuvenated. I now have the energy in the evening to do those personal things, go on the computer, do all of those things because kids work later in the evening. So that kind of worked out well. Errands, whatever I need to do. So now I feel like I can, even though, yes, there are no more hours in the day, I can accomplish more in that day because I've been able to sort of rejig how I do things.
And that's the key. The key is, you guys know our favorite tool out of anything we've ever used is the calendar. So
Yes.
if you actually book time for yourself to do something, and I was notorious for saying I didn't have time, so it can be done. So if you book it, then you also know, as Stacy said, the amount of time you have left in the beginning of the day to actually get things done. You know you have to get it done in that time frame.
Right.
Whereas if you didn't really book anything at the end of the day, then you're like, oh, I've got all day, I'll do it tonight, whatever. And then you're tired and you don't do it. So the key to getting more done is to actually schedule more in, as it sounds very weird, but I mean, scheduling not more work, but scheduling more things for you to accomplish and do on your own for your mental, physical, spiritual health, whatever that may take. So it's really kind of fascinating because you'll get people, once you start doing it, people will say to you, oh, you do too much. No, I'm doing less. I'm just doing more for me. So,
Exactly. What a concept, right? And do
yeah,
you find that, like, I find if I'm putting off a task, like you were saying earlier, that you were putting off a task that you knew that you had to do and that you scheduled it to finally do. What I find is that when I start doing that, I'll put off a task. I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this task. But when I actually sit down to do it, it
Yeah.
actually takes less time
Yeah.
than I thought it was going to take every
Yeah.
single time. And I don't know why. I'm like, oh, it's going to take me like 2 hours. So I'll book that
Yeah.
time. I'll get it done. And I have it done in 30 minutes. And I'm like, well, why didn't I do that before?
Because I think it's a lot like when you're in school and you have a paper due. Like, I don't
Right.
know. I mean, I don't know. None of my friends are the ones that did it weeks in advance. We were all up all night doing it the night before because, and I still have that, as you know, like whenever I'm doing a speech or I can't even do it till the last minute because the last minute, for some reason, my brain kicks in and
Yeah.
says, okay,
All right.
we
Let's
got
go.
it, let's go.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same thing. Like if you've scheduled time in to do that task that you don't want to do, you scheduled in an hour, you're going to get it done. That's all
Yep.
there is to it because you can't put it off anymore, right? Like you have to
You
have it
have to
done.
do it. Yeah.
So, and it makes a massive difference to how much you accomplish in your business, right? Than saying, it's the same thing. It's deadlines, it's putting things in your calendar, it's keeping accountable to that time frame, right? So, there's a lot of people that you'll hear about that say, oh, we got to post 5 times a day, right? For your social media. Well, actually, if you wanted to post 5 times a day and you blocked it all out one day and did it, you could. And then, therefore, if you wanted to, schedule for an entire month, then for a whole month, you wouldn't have that. So you can move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
So there's so many ways that you can, in fact, work less and accomplish way, way more, right? If you have the energy, if you feel good, things will change. So
And
it's
have the
really
right tools. Because
have
I
the
mean,
right.
we've talked a lot about we love our technology, we love our tools. And I feel like, I feel this is going to sound way back before computers, like literally when dinosaurs roamed the earth. We thought when computers were invented, it would save us time.
Yeah,
Okay. It didn't actually happen, right? With all the technology that happened through sort of the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, even the 2010s, I would say we spend more time doing some
more
of this
work.
stuff. It did not save us time.
No,
Fast forward to today, in today's world, it does save us time. If
right,
you are using the right tools,
the right
if you are implementing and using some of the things like I'm just fascinated now how I can take things and rework them and repurpose them and all of that kind of stuff so much faster that it literally does save us time, right? With AI integrated and all the different things that we're going to be doing. We just watched the Apple event that happened this week, and everything is going to be so much easier. So I really do think we are coming into a time where, yes, we are going to be able to save time. We are going to be able to do all of these things, and it will actually give us more time to do more things for ourselves.
right. But that's the key. The key is you get your time back. What are you going to do with it?
Right.
Right. So, I mean, yeah, the Apple event was phenomenal. Can't wait till iOS 18 comes out and everything gets updated. And the one, for example, that I thought was really interesting is when you're taking a picture, right, on your camera, it's going to adjust and pick out exactly the settings and everything that would make the best picture. So back before this, which is still today, you would go on to Google or Safari and say, I'm taking a portrait in the sunlight. What's the best setting on my, SLR or on my phone? And you would figure it out. And then you would go to your
Or
camera
settings.
and you would change the settings accordingly. Sorry, photographers, but it is getting easier. And now maybe that would have taken you an hour because you wanted to get really good shots. But now you don't do anything. You just put your camera up and it figures it out and does the shot. So, I mean, okay, we have an hour back. So what are we going to do with that hour, right? For some of you, it might be, oh, I'm going to do more projects. I'm going to work harder on my business, which is great.
Yeah.
Do whatever it is. For other people is like, you know what? I'm going to start learning to cook and be healthy instead of grabbing whatever's, in the fridge because I'm working so hard. So it is completely changing the way people are living, right? And we use lots of tools in our business, which we're going to share with you guys on Tech City. As you guys always know, it comes up after Hot Topics. But I think the key message that I really wanted to get out today is that there is an opportunity to work less, and
Yes.
it's not one of those one of those ads you see on Instagram where it's follow my system. No, you don't need to follow my entire system. You don't need to do any of that. You just need to understand to schedule things in and try to find solutions that will help you rather than hold you back. And we talk a lot about it in our community, in our courses. I think, the planning map is in our life map navigator, but
Mhm.
I think we should do another webinar with it. I think because I think people are realizing that maybe they don't really understand how to schedule things in, right? So maybe that's
Or
another.
how to plan, or
Yeah,
how to do the combination, right? We've talked a lot about, the personal and the business, but they really do go hand in hand, and
yeah,
how to plan things both for your business. Because I think what ends up happening, because I do see a lot of people talking about planners and all of that kind of stuff. And don't get me wrong, I love my planners, but the
yeah,
planners are business planners, and then there's personal planners, right? And being able to incorporate everything that you need, making time for yourself, incorporating different things that you want, different goals that you have, both for your business and for your personal, and plan that out, because that's your life.
yeah.
It's not, your life is not siloed. Your life
No,
works integrated with each other, which is why in our hub we have lifestyle courses as well as
yeah,
business courses, right? They're not two separate entities. It's not two separate businesses, not two separate places, because they do go hand in hand.
yeah. And really, that's the whole key is really thinking about it. I mean, when in the midst of the hardest point in my life, I really didn't think I'd have an hour to myself in a 24-hour period. And that's why I used to get up at, do my hour at 5 o'clock in the morning because that was it. But it was a solution for me, right? If
Yeah,
that's the only hour I had, I was going to put it in. Now, if I had gone through that now, I probably would have had a lot more time because there's so many different opportunities to shorten your work day and increase the amount of time that you can spend actually doing something
doing something.
to benefit you. So there's so many tools, and we talk about it. For those of you who are really interested in revamping, we have a Life Map Navigator program that's amazing. That's in our community, and it really focuses on telling you, how to organize what's important to you, how to put them in your calendar, and how to ensure that you stick with it. So we run it live every January, but the program's always there. So for any of our community members who have never dipped their toe into Life Map Navigator, you should do that. And for those of you who are just watching now, just come in, join our hub. You can join us for free to get lots of other free training and maybe start. And part of it is lifestyle based, as Stacy said. So maybe do a meditation class or do the nutrition class. Do something that's you think might help benefit you for a change.
Exactly. Exactly. So, all right. Well, let's a great segue and talk more about some where we found some of all those tools that we use on a regular
Yeah, we're
basis.
going to give you the mothership of tools. And we're
The,
back.
the mothership of tools.
So there's only one site that can honestly say that I check on a daily basis. On a daily basis, guys. And it's only might be a quick little see. I just look at the what's new tools, but we've talked about it a lot. You can get it on our resources page. if you click our link, I think you're going to get like a $10 coupon or something. I'm not something like that. So it's probably worth
They
it.
always give something.
Yeah, you always get something. So don't really know what, but it is AppSumo, which is the my favorite tech site there is. I don't know how many programs we've bought off AppSumo, but in the hundreds.
Yeah.
Um,
And
and
almost every program, not all of them, but almost every program that's on our resources page, we've probably found originally
yeah,
through AppSumo. Like literally when we're doing Tech City, we'll say, hey, like, where did you find this? And Faye's like, AppSumo. But what is it about? What types of developers are attracted to AppSumo? What's an advantage of people joining AppSumo?
well, it's the interesting piece about it is it's all startups, right? It's small, independent startup tech companies that are they need funding to continue to grow and build their app, their tech, whatever you're getting. And so what they do is they offer a lifetime deal to their tool, right? So, for example, when they have enough money and it officially launches, they might be selling it for, $69 a month. That might be their program. But
Yeah,
if you buy it lifetime, so you're basically crowdfunding them, right? So if you buy it lifetime, you might get it for $69 for lifetime.
right,
And essentially, I like to look at it as like you're the beta tester, right? You're the one
right.
that's going to, you have to deal with the hiccups. You have to deal with some of it's not perfect,
Yep.
but for the price, it is worth it. And you're exposed to all these different tools that, if you listen to us in our previous segment on Hot Topics, it was all about working less, right? And making more time for yourself to do something. And all the tools on AppSumo will help you work less.
Yeah, and save you time. So I think the interesting thing is that it's not like I'm going to work 8 hours in my workday. What I'm going to do is I'm going to accomplish these tasks. So if you can accomplish those tasks faster and easier, then your workday becomes shorter and your personal time
Right.
becomes more. So maybe your tasks that took you 8 hours now only take you four, and now what are you going to do with those extra 4 hours? And there are so many tools on AppSumo, both that we've purchased, we've looked at that save us time. Our community was found. The program that we use our community for was found on AppSumo. All the programs that we use, all of our AI, like I said, so many of those on our resources page were found through AppSumo. You are a big proponent. I think we talk about AppSumo, and the latest thing we found in our coaching call almost weekly, somebody's going,
Yeah.
"What's the latest that you found? And what can
Yeah.
you help us with this? And do you know if there's a tool that can help me do this, that, or the other thing?" And it's like, yes.
Yeah.
And when we talk about
Always.
what do we need, well, let's go to AppSumo.
Yeah, I mean, and it's there's so many that we purchased in the beginning. I've been an AppSumo Plus member, and here's the thing with Plus, in case you guys are wondering what that is, it means you get an additional 10% off.
Mhm.
You pay, I think it's $99 a year, and then you get 10% off of anything you buy, which in our world pays for itself because we buy a lot. So it's a really great deal because you get that. And plus, the other thing you get in the Plus membership is they extend the deals. So when time's running out on and somebody's going to leave, Plus members probably get an extra week to buy it. There's also exclusive deals just to Plus members. And right now, and the reason we wanted to talk about it today, so if you're listening or watching today, lucky you, because it is an App Sumo day right today, and it ends after today. But you get an additional 10% off even if you're not a Plus member. So
Yep.
it's a really good opportunity, and there's a lot of tech tools right now that are on the platform that will leave tomorrow. So, and it's everything. So I want to make sure that everyone understands. Stacy uses a lot of the video editing, the social media pieces. She uses a lot of those. It's not just about social media. It's
Nope, not at
everything
all.
you can think of. There's There's webinar programs, and there's programs to host your community, and there's programs to work with documents or work with AI. There's social proof in terms of testimonials. There is so many that you can literally go in and just search for something you're looking for. And there's a lot of tools that you didn't know existed.
Yes.
And that's the key. So one of our favorites that we've talked about, it's on our resource pages. Stacy loves her Minvo, which is their social media, and LOL transcript, or transcript LOL.
Yep.
And it's another one for social media. I love, love, love Taja.
Hmm.
And we found Taja, weren't looking for it, right? Weren't looking for it, didn't know it existed, was on AppSumo one day, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. And it literally takes your YouTube video and it optimizes it. You don't have to do anything. You just have to add the link, the URL, and it does everything, updates it so that it is just better for your feeds. So we weren't looking for it. Most of the programs we buy, we're not looking for. Right?
Oh, did you see? I'm always getting texts going, "Ooh, did you see this one? We could do
Yeah.
this." But I think the whole concept of lifetime. So again, just so that you understand, number one, hugely discounted cost, like ridiculously huge.
Insane.
You're
Insane.
investing in them, but what you get, you don't necessarily just get a lifetime access. You get lifetime access and all future updates.
Right.
So that's why we're always saying, we have to go back to programs we bought a few years ago and go, have
Yeah.
they updated them? Have they made it better? Yes, they have made it better, right?
Yeah.
And they've added this in, or they've integrated AI into it, or they've changed this and added this. And we're constantly going back because when you buy it, again, you're not buying it as is. You're
No.
buying the future of this. So always, we always encourage people to look at the roadmaps, see what they're working on, see what they're
Yeah.
expanding on. But it is like the lifetime is not just you buy it once and you
No.
get the lifetime for that. You get everything that they're intending to ever do,
Yeah.
even if they don't even know what they're going to do, and you get input on what
Well,
their priorities are.
one of our favorite stories. So if you guys go to our resources page, whenever we do Tech City and we're talking about a specific program, we actually have the video there, so you can
Yeah.
listen to us blab on about how much we love it. And one of it is what we're on right now. We are on Wave,
Yep.
and I purchased Wave, I don't know, more than 5 years ago. And it was a video editor. It had nothing
Yeah.
else. It was just video editing to make good stuff for social media. Didn't even look at it until I happened to get an email one day, and it said, their updates. And one of their updates was live streaming. And since that day, so I never really used it for the reason I bought it, ever.
Hmm.
I tried it once or twice. It was okay. Not enough. I didn't dislike it, so I didn't care about returning it or anything. But look what happened. 5 years later, we use this on a regular basis. This is where we live stream from. And it wasn't even on their roadmap.
Nope. No, and that's the thing, because the people who purchased it were requesting features. And they're like, well, I can do that. So it may not happen, year one, year two, but it may
Right.
happen down the road. And all of a sudden, a program that, like you, sort of discounted as something, well, I
Yeah.
probably don't really need that, is now a program that you're going to use on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So we have, both of us, I mean, Faye has way more than I do, I'll admit it. But we have this, collection and list of all of these programs that we have access to because we purchased them at such a low price. And then they're constantly updating. So again, we're like, oh, well, we can use this now. And, let's go back and take a look at this. And what is that? We were talking before we pressed the live button about one of the programs that we're looking for. And we're like, well, hang on, I think we have this or that
Yeah.
that we've purchased from AppSumo many years ago. And now we need to take a look at them that aren't social media related. But they are programs that are going to do what we need them to do. So
Yeah.
always have to go
So
back
we
and look.
actually have one of the programs that we have it listed on is a program we bought called Upbase. And it's kind of like a Trello. for lack of a better description.
Example. Yeah.
And so, what's on Upbase? It's all of our software categorized by what it does so that we don't forget. Because I had it everywhere, and we were at the point where we couldn't remember what we owned. Like
Yeah. Because
we
there's
own
so
so
much.
much. But again, we look at it and we go, oh, I can use this now. Didn't use it before, but now I can use it. So AppSumo, there's a few other ones. There's a few other like Mac Heist and a few other places that you can get LTDs. But I think the mothership really is AppSumo.
Yeah.
We strongly recommend that you take a look and just see what's out there. For those of you who are scared of purchasing stuff, there's two things that we recommend. One is that most of these guys have free trials.
Yep.
So go ahead and do a free trial and see if you like what it does. That's number one. And then number two is AppSumo offers a 60-day return policy.
Yep.
So if you don't like it after 60 days, you don't have to talk to anyone. You can literally return it right from your portal and you'll immediately get a refund. So, I've done it once, ever.
Yeah.
Once.
I think I did it once. Yeah.
And
Which
the
is,
only reason I did it, and it wasn't the program was decent. It worked well, but I realized I didn't need it after I used it because I was
right.
like, oh, well, hold on, I have this and it does the same thing. So very rarely do I return things. Why? Because it's so inexpensive to start. And I know I'm supporting companies, I'm trying to support startups. So, but I can't say enough. Again, go to our resources page and click that button. You'll get an extra something, $10 or something, which helps because if a
Yep.
program is only $49 to start with,
It's 39. But the
right?
other thing I would say for me, there's two things that I like. Number one is reading about the reviews. So one thing
Mhm.
about AppSumo is the community. So if you go to a particular product, people on AppSumo are very honest.
Yes.
So they ask questions of the developer, and the developer is right there to answer those questions for them.
Yes.
And then there's also the reviews. So people are putting the reviews. Yes, I've tried this. Oh, this is great. How do I get more?
Yeah.
From this, because wow, this is exactly what I was looking for.
Yes.
Or the opposite, where they're like, you know what, I've tried this and I didn't really love it, and here's why. So the true reviews. So before you purchase, also recommend that you check out the reviews, read the reviews on that particular product. And then the second thing, just about sort of that fear based about buying from a company that maybe you've never heard of.
Right.
Again, go do that free trial. But again, you're not purchasing what they are offering today. You're purchasing and investing in their future as well, and you get that input. So, on top of
And
doing a
there's
free trial, is understanding. And again, there's no need, like you said, AppSumo offers the refund,
yeah.
but knowing that these companies, and I don't think, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think we've ever had a company go under
No.
that we've
I,
ever
it, it,
purchased from. We've
I
had
have I
them.
have purchased so many, literally hundreds of programs over I don't even how long, years and years and years. Not one have they discontinued. What happens sometimes is they refocus or they kind of shift a little bit their direction. And what they always do is they always offer, they'll say, you can stay here on our legacy program, but we've added this component, right? So even if you don't want to add the extra, it doesn't matter. They always stick with that. So it's really, really important. The other thing that what you'll notice when you go to AppSumo, two things actually. One is they almost always have a video walkthrough.
Yeah.
So there's almost always an opportunity to see it. And then the second, which I really love, is when they do the description, they always have a spot that says alternative to.
Oh,
For
yes.
example, it'll
Yeah.
say, this is an alternative to Canva. So that if you have Canva Pro, you're like, well, I don't even want to look at it because if it's just an alternative to Canva, I don't really need it, right?
Right.
Or it's an alternative to whatever, Zap or something. And so it kind of allows you to realize very quickly if you need it or not.
Right.
Right. Because
Exactly.
there's a lot of them I look at that I go, this is cool. And then I go, and it says alternative to, and I'm like, well, I have those already. So I guess I don't really need
But
it.
we're not in the typical world.
Yeah.
right? Because we just have so many programs from that
Hmm.
perspective. But I guess there's no reason not to just search around what
Yeah.
from a personal perspective. And it's not just software.
No.
There's programs on there you can buy. There's digital downloads
Yeah.
that people put out as well. So there's lots and lots of information that you can get just by Googling around of what you're really looking for, whether it's business, whether
Yeah.
it's personal, strategies for this, a program that can help you do that.
Yeah. It's
It's
great.
probably there.
Yeah. So it's there's no reason not to just go look. You do not have to have a pro membership. You can just buy anything you want. It's the only thing the pro is going to do is, as I said, give you a 10% discount. So again, if you so do the math,
Mhm.
guys. If you are buying, say you go in and you buy a program and you're going to do, there's different tiers. We should explain that too. There's different tiers. So there's usually three tiers for each program. So tier one is the basic, the starter pack, right? Same thing as if they were selling on their site. Two is intermediate, so it gives you a little more bell and whistles, and then the advanced program. But here's the thing: if you decide to buy the advanced code, so you're buying three codes instead of one, do the math and say, well, if I save 10% and it's going to give me, $50 off, should I first join Plus so I can get the
Right.
discount? Is it worth the $99 for the year? Well, if you love it like us, it's worth the $99. So it comes down to just deciding if you like it. If you are fearful of tech, this is the place.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the other thing is when you're starting to look at the tiers and you go to their site and you see what they're selling it for,
Yeah.
it's like sometimes it's $99 a month
Yeah.
for, sort of limited stuff that you can get. And all of a
Yeah.
sudden you go over to AppSumo and it's $99 for a lifetime at the highest
Yeah.
tier and you get unlimited. Like to me, it's not no
Yeah.
brainer, right? Of what you
Yeah.
would do. So always go back and forth, check out their site, do a free trial if you can,
Yeah.
see what their pricing plans are currently. Now, keeping in mind that those will increase as the
Yeah.
program gets better and better. That's the other thing is that those prices are just in today's world of what they're offering
Yeah.
today. And your
Yeah.
lifetime is an investment in the future. And I can't tell you
And
the programs that
these
we bought many years ago that are just, oh my goodness, mind
yeah.
blowing today.
And most of these guys don't come back, right? They're crowdfunding to support their start. They're a startup. So if you think you're going to go to AppSumo in 6 months from now, when they're more developed, they're not going to be there.
No.
So don't like if you see something, all I can say is buy it because there's two things you have to consider. One is if you go today, for example, you'll see it'll say right on them it's an AppSumo day, so this is only here for another day, right? So that's number one if they flash it. But here's the thing you don't see. Some of them have limits. So some of them internally might say to AppSumo, we only want to sell 500 units. And you don't know when that 500 is
Yeah.
there. So if you miss all of a sudden one day, it happened to me once. I really wanted this and then I got distracted and I forgot about it. And then I went back, it was gone. It was literally, it had only been gone for like 6 hours or something. So I wrote to AppSumo and they're like, sorry, we can't do
Yeah.
anything
They
towards
don't
that.
control that. Yeah. Yeah, but there's also timing, right? It could be, that's only on AppSumo for 3 weeks.
Yep.
So that's why it is important to check it every day or every
Yeah.
couple of days and see
Every
what's
couple of
new.
days. Yeah.
New ones are coming all the time, but if you do see something that you like, do not wait,
No.
get it.
Yeah, we literally we were just looking before this call and we are both saying there's a couple things that we like we're going to check out tonight because we want to make sure we get it while the bigger sale is on because then we save an extra couple of dollars and we absolutely share it with our community each and every week. So if you are part of your community, you just ask us and we tell you what to use, what we found on AppSumo. Now, some of our suggestions are no longer on AppSumo, right?
Right.
But what we do, if you're part of our community, we generally on our Wednesday coaching call, which is today, we say, hey, this is on AppSumo. Go grab it if you're interested now because it's not going to be there tomorrow. So It's really important that you kind of keep on top of things and understand, you know, keep your options open. Why are we push this so much? It's simple because it, just like we said previously, we like to work less, right? Not more. We
This
want less work. So buying into these startups will allow you to work less.
absolutely. All right. Well, that's a great way to end things. So go check out AppSumo and